Today, let's talk about the value of focus. And I mean getting paid more to focus, and whether it's you or your people. So let's look at a couple of contrasts. And it's easy to look at when you're looking at people who are paid on performance. And look at sales as an easy one. But then we'll talk about how we might be able to use it in other areas. Now again, keep in mind if you're doing the selling or if somebody on your team is doing the selling. And we have people that sell. And these are not their real names, but I'm going to contrast a couple people. One is Andy and the other is Charlie. Andy's a struggler. Andy's one of those people who, like in most jobs, they show up on time, they kind of grind through their day, and they'll probably go this way for they always perform under the bar. And they'll probably muddle along in life for this for 40 years and can't wait to die or retire. It's like, well, that doesn't seem like a really good quality of life. And when you look at Andy, he's always like, again, he's selling and he's on the phone, he's talking to people all over the country, and he's always distracted, or let's say always not focused. And how I know he's not focused, because when I look at him, he's like talking to somebody, his feet are up, he's looking around, he's maybe looking at something online or looking at an email or looking at his phone. Meanwhile, having a conversation. And it's like, it doesn't work very well, because if you look at another guy, you look at Charlie, who's right next to him. And Charlie outperforms Andy double. And he often takes, instead of all day, maybe 5 or 6 hours to do it. And sometimes it's more than double. The guy makes 2, 3, 4 times more money, and he does it in a lot less time. But you look at some of the things he does. He has on his desk, he has this little thing, it says The Zone. And he goes, man, it reminds me to get in the zone. It's almost like I put blinders on and close my eyes. And I don't know what planet I'm on when I'm having these conversations, because I'm really focused in on what they're talking about and how they're saying it. And I don't look at anything. I don't know what planet I'm on. I don't know if there's music on. I don't know what anything. All I know is exactly what's going on in this conversation. And it's interesting to see. And he doesn't look at emails. He doesn't look at website. He doesn't do any of this stuff. He doesn't have Twitter. He has Facebook, popping in, or whatever your sound is, and distracting, because those distractions, every time, what's that statistic? Every time you get distracted, it takes you 19 more minutes to get back on track. Andy is spending his life being distracted, and it's costing him a fortune in life. He's just never going to get there. Meanwhile, Charlie is going, man, if I get my stuff done in a lot less time, can I take Fridays off? Yes, please get done on Tuesday for all I care. And when you look at that, if you're an employer, do you really care? Let's say you set some incentive up where you go, okay, not if you get 100% of your stuff done, but you know what? If you get 150% done, take the rest of the week off, or whatever the month, or how can you set it up? And let's say, whether you are in one of these positions, you've got people in these positions, then let's say retail or maybe customer service, where you kind of have to be there. Well, how could you set up some incentive where if they go, well, look, how can we measure this? How can we measure this so that I can get done sooner? Because a lot of people, it's not about the money, it's about the time. But ask your people and ask yourself, what's important to me? And how could you set it up so that, how could you measure it so that if they're really good and they can get their stuff done, if it's retail, and of course if they're doing sales, that's an easy measure. But maybe there's something else that in customer service, you go, look, if you get these things done, yeah, you can go. Maybe it's 120 or 150% of whatever you wanted them to get done. Figure it out. It's worth it, because then they're going to be so excited and happy. They might tell their friends who are other good people, hey, man, my company does this, and I'm able to have this freedom. And then maybe they want to come and work for you. And you know what? Sure, you might have to find somebody to work out that last little bit of time, but or close early. You just made 50% more. There are ways to do it. So if it's your own production, what can you do? Well, you can turn off as much distraction as you can. Everything you can turn off, all the junk mail and prompts. Look at them, they're still going to be there. Look at them when you're done. Set up kind of an incentive to you. Ask yourself, ideally, how would I want this to operate? And set it up to match your ideal. When you achieve that, it feels awesome, it feels free, and it feels the same way for everybody on your team. Set it up. Life can be a lot better. Business can be a lot more fantastic. Give it a test. I'd love to hear what you find and how you do it. Talk to you soon. Thanks.